Hello, this is Troy again, and I'm still on my revolutionary road trip, making my way from Poland down to Berlin, Germany. So, this video is the third in the series, and it's covering chapter 2 of my book, which is entitled On Beliefs and Being Wrong. So, there's basically 4 points I'm addressing in this chapter. Let me go through them real quick here. Number one, we can't really know for sure what the truth is, the way things are. Number two, when we don't know what the truth is, we resort to belief. And number three, it is difficult to change beliefs. And number four, the reason is because we hate being wrong. So let me go through the first one here. We can't know the truth the way things are. And this is even more timely now than when I first wrote this because, you're hearing every day about fake news, right? And the reality is, probably much of what led to Donald Trump's election is that there's so much bullshit out there that people don't know what to believe in anymore. The fact is, we've built up entire social systems. They all skew the truth. So whether we're talking our monetary system, our political system, our media, our educational system, or even religious institutions, they're all incentivized to skew the truth. So uh, a friend of mine, Daniel Smachtenberger, talks eloquently about this. He talks about how we've collectively lost our sense-making ability. And at a time when we really need to be able to make more sense of this crazy world, we have less ability to do so. And the reason there's a systemic aspect or root cause of that is that we've got a perverse incentive system, and it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. So it's all about it's money driven and profit driven, and that pervades our political system and educational system and our science, right? It corrupts everything, even whether we're talking about, climate change studies or any types of social studies or anything can be corrupted by the influence of money. That incentivizes there to be mistruths everywhere. So the second point is when we can't know what the truth is, we resort to belief. And I want to read a quote here just by some anonymous progressive activists. It said, because there are so many different facts and things are so out of control and the questions are so big, at a certain point, you just have to decide what to believe. Now, I find that extremely problematic because we have the ability through our scientific method and our knowledge, we have the ability to discern truths, right, and facts. But the fact is that they're all skewed and corrupted. So therefore, we have to resort to beliefs to make our decisions. And we know how problematic belief structures can be. I've also, I've seen many conspiracy theorists. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that are true, but I've seen many conspiracy theorists who have sort of gone off the deep end and lost their discernment. And behind every corner, there's a new conspiracy. So somebody once said to me, and this goes with our previous chapter too about having an open mind. We do absolutely need to keep an open mind, but it can't be so open that our brains fall out. So, but look at what's happening right now in our world. So many people just don't know what the hell to believe anymore. And so then that leads to things like Donald Trump getting put into office. Because our whole system is set up to make it bad to be wrong, then we elect politicians that will never admit that they're wrong or they won't get voted into office. So what happens is then we start voting based off of our instinct or emotion or cultural cognition or ideology, right? And it's all influenced by money. So instead of voting by reason and logic and facts, we're basically making decisions off of our most basest emotions and fear. That's never a good thing. So the third point here is that our beliefs are difficult to change if we need to. And right now, we really need to change our beliefs. there's all kinds of things going on like confirmation bias, and they've already studied this and found out that when people's beliefs are challenged, they sort of dig their feet in more and double down on those belief systems, right? So we can't just rely on facts and figures to try to shift people's beliefs. Somehow, some way, we've got to deal with the underlying systemic causes of that. The fourth point is we hate being wrong. And like I just said, our systems punish people who are wrong. Here's a nice quote from Catherine Schultz, who wrote a book called Being Wrong. The great minds of the scientific revolution, for instance, were incredibly excited about error. They understood that it is only when belief systems collapsed, when things did not go as planned, that's when things got interesting. That was when you learned the most. That was when you had a chance to completely reconstruct your worldview. So the creative minds of the Enlightenment, she said, and in fact the creative minds of every era, have all understood the centrality of doubt to their work. My point in this whole chapter is that we need to be open to the idea to be radically wrong about everything we think we know about the world, including our historical accounts, and question everything. So, and we also need to consider that we might be wrong about what we think is impractical or fantastic or impossible, as I discussed in the previous video. So we need to consider that our existing paradigms in regards to economics and politics and education and everything might just be wrong. And as part of the core part of that is that our system of rationing resources now, especially when we're entering a post-scarcity age where we could provide enough resources for everybody to live a much better life. So what is right? What does that leave us with that is right? And what I point at in this book is something else that we've been wrong about. That we think that money's always been with us and always will, right? That's just the way it is. And the fact is that's not true. Money and debt and ownership have been with us for about 5,000 years. And Homo sapiens have been around 200,000 years. So if we do the math, that's over 95% of our existence have we had no monetary market exchange systems of any type. What do we have? Barter systems? No, that would also be wrong. And barter has been proven by David Graeber that is basically a myth. It never really existed. We had gift economies, and that's where people just did things. And it worked for most of our history, right? Now we've got the ability to do that in a post-scarcity model that can meet the needs of everybody everywhere. So in talking about being wrong and right, I don't want to make our whole system of money and capitalism wrong. Now it's outdated. It served our needs when we needed it to, right? And so now it's just evolutionarily appropriate to transcend it, to evolve beyond it. And that would be the right thing. To stay with the system as it is would be the wrong thing, and it will destroy us. But I'm confident we will arrive at the right decision. Thank you.